You've devised a watertight research plan. You've tested your product out with your sexy participants, and you found the next $1 million opportunity. And now, you're presenting your results to your team, only to have your stakeholder scream at you, saying,
"What the fuck is this? Look!"
All around me are familiar faces.
You're wrong! I don't agree with your research! Why you do this, man?
What's your move? What is up, lovely researchers? It's Kevin. Have you encountered this before? What do you do in this situation when your stakeholder disagrees with you? How should you respond? Now, if you're working on a team that's new to UX, chances are you've already encountered this. And if you haven't, don't worry, you probably will. But that's okay. I'm going to give you some tips that will equip you to deal with these situations when they come up so that you and your team can move towards progress and not burn any bridges. In an ideal situation, you can prevent any questioning of your methods by involving your stakeholders throughout the research process. From beginning to the end of your research, nothing should be a surprise to them. That's just good practice. During your research planning phase, you want to make sure you include your stakeholders. Now, don't let them take the reins because you're the expert in research, but be open-minded. Get some feedback, get their input, ask them for their feedback. Hey, I came up with this method. What do you think? What else do you want to know about? Get them involved. Make them feel like a partner, not a client. How should you make them feel? Like a partner, not a client. Why should you do this? Because when you present your findings, your stakeholders should already know why you were doing the research, what you did, and how you did it, so that you and your team can focus on the results that matter instead of questioning your methods. Obviously, that's the ideal situation. Sometimes your presentation might be sent out to people who were not part of that process. They're just curious about your findings. If people disagree with you anyway, here are some things that you should not do. The biggest mistake you can make when someone disagrees with you is to get defensive. I've personally seen a few researchers who are, for example, fresh out of their PhD programs. They get defensive and they start yelling and attacking that person who disagreed with them. Even when the stakeholders end up agreeing, you continue using that really defensive tone. It's just not pretty. It's toxic. The only thing getting defensive accomplishes is letting people know you're not someone they want to work with. Another mistake is to simply ignore their concerns. If they disagree with you, there's probably a reason why. I've also seen this mistake, just simply repeat the findings. Like the stakeholder says, "I'm not sure I agree." And the researcher says, "The research says this. The user said this. They want this." Don't do that. They're not buying it.
Jackal! It's a jackal! It looks like a jackal! 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 It's a jackal! Jackal!
Time!
It wasn't right the first time you said it. Why the hell would it be right the next 10 times?
So what should you do instead? Well, the first thing you should do is not to put on your defensive hat. Take that off. Put on your curiosity hat. Drop your ego. Step away from the research for just 1 second and really understand why they're disagreeing with you in the first place. What is their concern? I hear you. Tell me more. Or, oh, I hadn't thought about that. Tell me more. Really dig into the why. What are their concerns? Sometimes it could be because they really want their design to work, but the users hated it because it sucked. Or other times, maybe your results align with users' needs, but not always the business needs. That one's tricky. That's what you should do first. Understand where they're coming from. Depending on what their answer is, then you're gonna go on to what I call the step back. What is it? Well, sometimes you have to take a step back in order to move forward.
They're paying a lot of attention to him collectively. Gotcha.
Step back three. Luka got it.
There you see him gets the defense going back. He steps back.
Take a moment, get away from your research findings, step away, remind them why you were doing the research and how you came up with the methodology that you chose. And you should probably know why you chose the method. You, the researcher, are the champion of your user. However, when someone's disagreeing with you, like I said, repeating it 1,000,000 times isn't going to change their mind. What is the nature of their concern? Where are they coming from? hey, I really respect your work as a designer. Or hey, I understand where you're coming from. Let's back up a moment. We were trying to look at XYZ problem. And for this problem, there are certainly multiple ways that we could approach this, method 1, 2, or 3, because of, I don't know, logistics, time, deadline, whatever. These are the reasons why we did not choose methods ABC. And for the scope of this study, it was best to go with this method. And from this method, there are opportunities for improvement. And I want to go back to what the users need. And from the findings, they reflect their needs. Speak in a tone that is open, not combative. You want to open embrace. You want to embrace their concerns. You want to address their concerns, and also remind them respectfully that, hey, we're all in this together. We're looking at the same problem. Now, the purpose of this isn't to avoid doing more research. Sometimes you're going to need to do more research. And that's always the case. There's always more research to be done. But what I've outlined here for you is to influence and to stand by your methodology and your research findings. They don't teach you this stuff in school. So the next time it happens, if it happens, try it out. Comment down below. When was the last time someone disagreed with you? Whether it's work related or in your personal life, how did you respond? Or did you react negatively? This stuff isn't easy. So I'd like to hear about how you dealt with it. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. I post all things UX research related to help you become the most badass UX leader. Mad love. Peace.